Are they gonna use Full Metal Wall? They're probably gonna... they can't actually boss order, that's the good thing. So they're gonna use Steel Fist. Let's just get even more energy cards, because we don't have supporter cards, just to thin out our deck, make sure we get those right cards into hand. Let's just do it. 1, 2, 3. They're gonna use Impact Blow the next turn, but they're not gonna you know, they're not gonna prepare for a Fraxure, but they might actually have a Marnie. They might top deck a Marnie. And should we evolve? Let's just evolve, because they're gonna have to choose which one to knock out anyways. Probably gonna knock out our you know, our threatening active Pokemon. So I'll keep my rare candy. If they use a Marnie, it's fine. We have a lot of rare candies. We only have 2 rare candies in the deck, by the way. But let's just hope. There we go, a Crushing Hammer. Haha. Axew Unnerve. Unnerve doesn't work. And they use One Blow. Oh my gosh, that was a waste. Because they didn't have a memory capsule, so they couldn't use Impact Blow. Should we save the Training Court though? So 6 is still not enough. So might as well just use Grind Up now. Because Training Court gives them the advantage as well. Doesn't do much for them because they actually rely on those metal energy in their discard pile to do something. So discarding the... Either way, we are discarding the Viridian Forest, and it actually helps either way. But it's actually smarter to save that Viridian Forest for a few turns, because that allows us to fish out even more energy cards from our discard pile, essentially attaching even more to our Haxorus. Okay, we got a Haxorus at least. Definitely gonna evolve now, because nothing else we can do. We could use Guillotine. I'm not sure how much Guillotine is. Guillotine does 70 damage, so 70, I'm not sure if it's enough to knock it out. So Escape Rope actually works because we evolved. So let's just put out... We should have put out a Mew actually, because now they can knock us out. They can use Mawile to knock us out. I forgot about that. Hello everybody, welcome to Beware the Terrible. Today we have a new deck in the standard format for you called the Sharpening Edge. So in this deck we are featuring Haxorus from Unified Minds with the Grind Up ability and the Powerful X attack. So Powerful X does 40 extra damage with a base 10 damage for each amount of basic energy card attached to this Pokemon. So if you have a Cherrim, it works as well. So any type of basic energy, you get to add 40 extra damage. But it is fire and steel type energy attack cost. That means you're gonna have to think about charging it with 2 specific energy before using that Cherrim for that, you know, to spam a lot of leaf energies to do a lot of damage with your Powerful X. So we are not using Cherrim in this deck, we are focusing on the ability instead. So we are using the ability Grind Up to charge Haxorus for a lot of energy turn after turn to be able to knock out a VMAX or tag team with 1 hit. So this is a very powerful attack and ability here we are using. So the attack actually do a lot. So if you have 4 energy attached to it, you actually do 170 damage. If you have 8 energy attached, you get to do 300 plus damage. So 8 times 4, 330 damage for 8 energy attached to your Haxorus. So Grind Up allows you to discard any stadium card in play, and if you do, you get to attach 3 in any combination of fire and steel energy cards from your hand to this Pokemon once during your turn. So you only get to do this ability once, but you get to discard any stadium card in play. If your opponent has a stadium card, you get to do it as well. And then for each stadium card that you discard, obviously you only get to do it once per turn. You get to attach 3 in any combination of fire and steel energy from your hand. So obviously if you play a Cherrim, you're gonna play a lot of leaf energy, so you can't actually make use of this ability. So if you use a Cherrim, you're gonna have to think about those two specific energy costs as well. So maybe Aurora energy and Cherrim might work. A double dragon in the expanded format with a Cherrim will work really well for this card, but we're not having double, we can't play double dragon in the standard format. So for this card, for this standard format, for this deck, we're using, we are using the ability to charge it up very fast. So we have our Axew, 4 copies of Axew, 4 copies of Haxorus, only 1 Fraxure, because we don't want to be evolving stage by stage. So the bad thing about this card, the main strong point for our Axew, the main strong point for Axew is that we have the Unnerve ability. So this ability allows you to block Boss Order, to block Crushing Hammer, Team Yell, Fan of Waves, and all of those trainer cards that discard your energy, that pull your Axew from your bench position to the active spot. So all of those trainer cards that do a lot of damage to your Pokemon, we get to avoid those effects with our Unnerve ability. So this Axew card is super powerful. That is why we want to be keeping it in the in the basic stage as long as possible while charging up our energy cards. We can charge it fast with our Welder. We don't need grind up yet. So it's better to charge it up to like 4 or 5 energy cards on your Axew before you Rare Candy evolve it, and then use your grind up ability once you have a lot of energy cards, or once you have the right stadium card in play, because we are playing Giant Hearth, Training Court, and all of those stadium cards that allow us to search our deck or discard pile for energy cards, essentially allowing us to draw out even more energy cards into our hand, so that we get to discard that stadium card for those extra 3 energy cards attached to our Haxorus, and dealing an extra 120 damage. So if we have 5 energy attached to our Axew, they can't actually discard it with Crushing Hammer or whatever on their next turn. And if we have a Mew, we actually get to protect our bench as well. And then on our next turn, all we need to do is Rare Candy evolve, use grind up for this for those extra 3 energy cards. If we have a Welder, we get to attach even more, so up to 4 at least, an extra 4 energy cards turn after turn. If you have a grind up already, if you have a Haxorus already in this ready in the stage 2 evolution, in the stage 2, stage 2 form, then you actually get to attach energy turn after turn very fast. But obviously it's only 150 HP, it gets knocked out very easily, so we are not hoping for Haxorus to stay in play for a long time. That is why we are trying to evolve as late as possible, so that we get to attach up to 8 energy cards, and that is enough already to knock out a VMAX or tag team with 1 hit. So always the golden rule for this deck: try to charge up your Axew up to 5 or 4 at least energy cards before you Rare Candy evolve, because if you evolve stage by stage, they can actually Boss Order, knock it out, or they can actually reduce your energy cards with Crushing Hammers, Team Yell, and all of those abilities. Abilities still work for Unnerve, by the way. If they use Pokemon's abilities like Rock or Clefable to reduce your energy card count, they can actually, those abilities still actually work, because Unnerve only blocks off item and supporter cards that your opponent play. So that's something to watch out for. But obviously they can't actually discard your energy cards if your Axew is in the bench position. So Clefable and Rock, those abilities only work for the active Pokemon. So if you're in the bench spot, you can still protect it from all of those abilities, essentially, because there are no abilities that removes energy cards from your from your bench Pokemon, unless you have your Haxorus in the active spot, and they unless they play effects of attacks that discard all of those energy cards. So anyways, let's go on for the supporter cards for this deck. We are playing 4 Welders, 4 copies of Welder, because Welder allows us to fast charge up to 3 energy cards per turn. That is super, that's huge. And then we have 2 Marnies and 2 Professor's Research, and 1 Skyla and 1 Bruno. So we have a lot of supporter cards. We also have 2 Crobat Vs and 2 Dedenne-GX to draw out a lot of cards, because we need those cards. And we have 5 copies of Stadium cards. We have 2 Giant Hearth, 2 Training Court and 1 Viridian Forest. Viridian Forest allow us to get out our Steel Energy cards because we are only playing 8 Steel Energy cards in this deck. We have 9 Fire Energy because we need those Fire Energy to be able to use our Welder. Welder not only allows us to fast charge our Axew and Haxorus, but also allows us to draw out our cards, which we need. For example, our Evolution Incense, Level Ball, to set up more Axews and Rare Candy. So those cards are actually important. We actually do need to, draw out cards. So sometimes we may need to use Welder just for the draw. Even though we may not have enough Fire Energy cards in our hand, only 1 Fire Energy for the Welder is fine, because drawing cards is more important actually. Because we actually get to do more if we draw out fast, if we evolve fast enough, and if we play those stadium cards at the right time, we can actually do even more. So it's better to use Welder as fast as you can if you can, because sometimes we may not have Fire Energy cards in our hand, so we may need to fish out those Giant Hearth first by using a Dedenne or something, sacrifice a few Welders, or using a Skyla first or something else. So we don't have rods in this deck, so we are relying on, you know, all of those Haxorus, all 4 Haxorus turning up in the deck. If they are in a prize card, then we are relying on drawing out those Haxorus from the prize, because we can't actually, we don't actually have cards to shuffle back those discarded or knocked out Pokemon from our discard pile back into the deck. So we are trying to hit as many times as we can, Powerful X, to knock out as many Pokemon as we can and collect all 6 prize cards for the win. So this is the mechanic of this deck. We only have 1 Mew in this deck. It's better to have more, but I actually recommend to have 2 Mews in this deck. Because Mew actually does a lot for your Axew, but obviously if they have a Dragapult, you don't actually get to protect your Axew and the bench spot from a Dragapult VMAX's Max Phantom attack. So those damage counters still work. You can't actually play Metal Goggles on your Axew because it's not a metal type. So, you know, Mew actually has a limitation. It doesn't do everything. Obviously, it's not invincible. So let's go ahead for gameplay with this deck. It's called, I can't remember what it's called now. Sharpening Edge, right? It's called Sharpening Edge because we are using the Grind Up ability, Haxorus, and the Powerful X attack. So the edge that never stops sharpening. So our first game against, not sure what type of deck, but they have a steel metal type deck box and a Charizard coin. Sorry about that. We are playing Axews. So we got 2 Axews to start with. That is actually fabulous. No supporter cards, but we got a Crobat. We have to play a Mew now. It's always better to prepare a Mew because they could be playing Pico Rom, Tag Bolt, any bench attacking cards. Okay, a full steel type, so we don't actually need a Mew now. Lucario Melmetal, Corviknight VMAX, Zacian, they don't get to hit the bench. I don't think any steel type, no metal types in the standard format are able to hit your bench, I don't think. Corviknight VMAX. We got our 3rd Axew. I'm just gonna discard that one. I might actually get a Dedenne. We got 2 Dedennes and 2 Crobats in the deck, so none in the prize card. That's perfect. We got 3 Haxorus, and how many rare candies do we have? 2 rare candies. I might actually get a Dedenne. Let's just be smart and get, you know, all our Axews. So full Metal Wall is not is the effect of an attack. They still get to discard our energy cards with full Metal Wall. So it's actually smarter to charge up our bench first, because they, you know, let's just wait till they use their full Metal Wall before we do anything. We still can't use our Welder. We didn't get our Welder. So we have no Jirachi in this deck. We have to... Oh, they just put our Rare Candy back into the deck. That's not good. We have to rely on chance for those Welders to turn up and energy cards to turn up in pair with those Welders. Because Welder can't actually do anything if you don't have the right type energy on your hand. Are they gonna use Full Metal Wall? They're probably gonna... they can't actually boss order, that's the good thing. So they're gonna use Still Fist. So we got a Level Ball. We're gonna use Level Ball for those extra cards. Fire Energies, my bad. And then charge up the bench one. Because we're protected from boss order, so that's super strong for us. I'm just gonna evolve a Fraxure, a Fraxure. Not sure how to pronounce this card. So I'll keep my Rare Candy. If they use a Marnie, it's fine. We have a lot of Rare Candies. We only have 2 Rare Candies in the deck, by the way. But let's just hope. There we go, a Crushing Hammer. Haha. Axew Unnerve. Unnerve doesn't work. I mean, Crushing Hammer doesn't work against Unnerve. So there we go. They didn't use a Marnie. We got lucky and we got to evolve. Rare Candy evolve. We get to use Welder and grind up on the same turn. That is perfect. So now we're gonna use that for Welder. Let's hope we draw energy cards with our Welder, because if we don't, we can't actually do much. Or a Dedenne at least. Oh, thank God, we got a Dedenne. But we have to waste a Rare Candy. So that's... we can use a Crobat though. Thank God for Crobat, because we actually saved that Rare Candy. Oh, and we got a Haxorus as well. Wow. 7. We actually need 1 extra energy. So I'm gonna use Grind Up now, because we actually don't need that much energy cards. Yeah, let's just use Grind Up now. And we got enough. Wow, just enough to knock out a tag team. A Lucario Melmetal, even with that Full Metal Wall or a Metal Goggles. But if they have both Full Metal Wall and Metal Goggles, we actually can't knock it out. So 290 minus 30 is 260, the exact HP of that Metal type tag team. So they just let us win. Let's go hit for our second game with the Sharpening Edge deck. I wanted to name it the Cutting Edge, but it's way too obvious. I don't quite like that name. I prefer Sharpening Edge. Hello. Let's just reply them. Smiley face, smiley back. Axew in the active spot. We got another Axew with our Quick Ball. We could get a Mew if they play Rapid Strike, but they are not playing Rapid Urshifu. So single Urshifu, we have to watch out because the HP is super high. 330 for the VMAX card. But they are adding those extra damage counters for us. If they play Houndoom, they actually add those little, those few damage counters, which actually does a lot for us. It helps us a lot. So I'm gonna discard I really want a Welder. We have a Training Court in our deck. Let's hope we have one in our deck. So 2 Training Courts in the deck, 3 Welders. Let's check the Haxorus. 3 Haxorus, because we only have well, we do have 4 of those. We do have 4 of each Axews and Haxorus in our deck. In this deck, but we can't be relying all of them to turn up in the deck. We have to anticipate a few to wind up in the prize card. So it's important to check your deck always. I'm just gonna put that one. You know what? I shouldn't actually. I'm actually scared. Because Giant Hearth does a lot for us. Oh well. At least we get to draw. I'm just gonna get something. Should I get it? Or shouldn't I? Let's just not. Rare Candy, there we go. Let's just get that one. Even if they Marnie us, we won't be too bad off because we're gonna get supporter cards anyways. Let's hope they don't Marnie, because if they don't, it's gonna give us a huge advantage because we have a Rare Candy at hand. All we need is a Welder, but even if we don't have a Welder, it's fine. We get 4 energy cards on the next turn, 170 damage on the Urshifu V or a VMAX on this turn. They could evolve. I wonder what that last card is. Research, please don't be a research. You could have a really nicely built deck for that card to be to wind up being a research, or you could just be very lucky. Sometimes even if you have a really well built deck, you could be screwed by luck. You never know. You could have a really bad luck and wind up having the worst hand ever. They can actually knock us out the next turn though. So what does Fraxure do? Fraxure does guard press for 30 damage. So 170 plus 30 is enough. If they don't evolve, we can actually knock them out. So I'm actually scared though. Let's just get even more energy cards because we don't have supporter cards, just to thin out our deck, make sure we get those right cards into hand. Let's just do it. 1, 2, 3. They're gonna use Impact Blow the next turn, but they're not gonna they're not gonna prepare for a Fraxure, but they might actually have a Marnie. They might top deck a Marnie. And should we evolve? Let's just evolve, because they're gonna have to choose which one to knock out anyways. Probably gonna knock out our our threatening active Pokemon, because if they boss auto knock out our Fraxure, it's gonna be even worse for them. Oh great, we can't knock them out now. Oh dear. They got lucky and evolved, or maybe they actually saved that evolution card, knowing that we could knock them out on the next turn. But we could draw a Welder though. That's actually pretty risky if they kept that card at hand. And they used one blow. Oh my gosh, that was a waste, because they didn't have a memory capsule, so they couldn't use Impact Blow. We can't actually. Quick Ball is actually better because it gets your Dedenne, it gets your Crobat. But Level Ball actually gets your basic setup very fast. So at least we get to do 30 damage. Not a lot, but it does pile up. And they actually have to damage themselves if they use their single strike roar too many times. Down to that final card again at hand. We also have one card left. We have a lot of supporter cards, haven't drawn one yet. I mean, we have loads of supporter cards. Okay, we got a Haxorus at least. Definitely gonna evolve now, because nothing else we can do. We could use Guillotine. I'm not sure how much Guillotine is. Guillotine does 70 damage, so 70, I'm not sure if it's enough to knock it out. You have a good deck as well. Single Strike Urshifu, not a good deck to be up against ours because we are playing one price deck. So they are actually, the one blow doesn't do much for us. It doesn't do much for them because, you know, it's targeting those VMAX high HP Pokemons, 3 price cards, 2 price at least. And you have to discard all energy attached to your Urshifu VMAX. Well played. Phew, that was close. Okay, they just let us win. So bad matchup for them, you know, a bit too lucky in terms of matchup for us. So let's go ahead for our third game with the Haxorus deck featuring the powerful X attack and grind up ability. So you can actually think of using this card with End's Resolve. End's Resolve does a lot for your Axew, especially with its Unnerve ability. You get to charge it up with a lot of energy cards. It's actually better than Welder because you actually discard the top 6 card of your deck and attach any basic energy cards you find there to your bench Dragon type Pokemon. So it's actually riskier in a sense because you are discarding cards from your deck. You can't actually save those rare candies or item cards if you discard them. So that's actually why I prefer Welder. That is why I don't have any End's Resolve in my deck, because I actually tried that deck. End's Resolve is actually quite dangerous to use because you discard a lot of things from your deck. You're gonna need those Paw Pads, ordinary rods, and all of those rescue stretchers if you're playing expanded to be able to recover those cards that you discard that you might need later on. So End's Resolve is a very risky play. So we're up against a dark type deck, maybe Eternatus VMAX, Crobat VMAX. You never know what you're up against. Oh, a Weezing, Galarian Weezing. Could be a full Galarian Weezing ability locking deck, or could be a Crobat VMAX Weezing deck, as we saw in our Galarian Rapidash V video. If you want to check that video out, go ahead, go to the description. I'll probably attach a link in the description below. We made a deck on Galarian Rapidash V and we were up against a Crobat VMAX Weezing deck. But they could actually play Eternatus VMAX as well. So there are a lot of options for them. Let's attach and use a Marnie. Oh my gosh, horrible hand. So if we get a quick ball, that's actually all we need. A quick ball or a supporter card. They're gonna evolve their Haxorus now. My bad. They're gonna evolve their Weezing. And they actually get to discard our energies with Team Yell, Fan of Waves, or Crushing Hammer. Obviously Fan of Waves doesn't work because we're playing all basic energy cards. So Galarian Weezing locks our Unnerve ability. So they can boss order our Axew now. Thank God they don't have a Toxicroak, because they could actually knock out our Axew with a Toxicroak. So we're gonna just retreat because nothing else we can do. Just to save that Axew. They can boss order now, by the way. Or even escape rope. So we got a research, finally. I'm gonna attach to that one, because that's getting knocked out. Let's see how many Haxorus we have in the discard pile. None discarded. So that's our first Haxorus discard. We got another Axew. We have to save another one. It's only 130 HP by the way, so we don't need much to knock it out. All we need is an Evolution Incense, and we're good to go, because we actually get to attach a lot of energies on our next turn. We got our Giant Hearth, we got 2 energy cards and a Welder, fire energy as well. Obviously, if they use a Marnie, we're gonna be screwed. Oh my gosh, they didn't put any extra bench Pokemon, and they didn't use a Marnie, so we are and we got a Haxorus. Oh my gosh, that is like super lucky. So let's use our Welder for those 2 extra energy cards, and then grind up for even more. We can't actually add. We can't actually add 6. We could have added 6 on this turn, but because we didn't get enough energy cards into our hand, we actually we can't use the ability. My bad. Thank God. Thank God we had a Welder. We can't use grind out because because of neutralizing gas. So I totally forgot about that ability, the ability lock. But because they don't have any bench Pokemon in play, we won the game. So Weezing is really dangerous. Is super powerful in that sense. Because all of your Pokemon's abilities, Gormandize, Battle Sands, everything that you rely on, shady dealings, even your Corviknight VMAX. What's the ability? I can't remember the ability, but it works the same as Stealthy Hood. So if you play a lot of Arctozolts and if you are playing Galarian Weezing as your active, then they don't actually get to defend their Corviknight VMAX from that Biting Whirlpool effect. So that's an interesting point. If you pair Biting Whirlpool with that neutralizing gas, you can actually damage their Corviknight VMAX. So they're playing Mew to Mew, Tag Team GX. You need a lot of energy cards to be able to knock it out with one hit. Mawile. I think it's an ADP Mewtwo deck. Oh, it's a Latios. Could still play an ADP. Latios actually cuts off Alter Creation as well. So it's a really good match against ADP opponents. Or any tag team opponents really. So let's use our Quick Ball for Axew. Should we play Viridian Forest? I'm just gonna attach that one. Nah, let's just use our Giant Hearth. So we need our Mew, just in case. Oh, we just got a Mew. Just in case they hit our bench, because Unnerve, they can't boss order our Axew just because of the Unnerve ability, the stellar ability that protects Axew from all effects of trainer cards, all effects of item and support cards. So tool cards and stadium cards effect still works against your Axew, but obviously tool cards doesn't do much to your bench Pokemon if your Axew is in the bench spot. But stadium cards still work. So the stadium card effect actually still does damage to your Axew if it does any damage. So we can actually knock it out the next turn if we get enough energy cards into our hand. We got a quick ball, so that's our ticket for more cards. Let's evolve now. And then let's try get an energy card. They have a lot of cards in their hand though, that's like really scary. I'm gonna get an Axew. Let's just get a Crobat, just in case we have, you know, we're lucky enough to get a Welder, then we can actually knock it out this turn. Okay, we're not lucky enough. So they're probably playing ADP now that, you know, they're playing steel energy cards. We have no Dedenne left in our no more Dedenne in our deck, so let's just play another Axew. Use a Marnie on them. And now we get to play the Viridian Forest. Let's save our fire. Actually, it's smarter to... Yeah, let's save our fire, because we still have Welders in our deck. And should we save the training court though? So 6 is still not enough. So might as well just use grind up now. Because training court gives them the advantage as well. Doesn't do much for them because they actually rely on those metal energy in their discard pile to do something. So discarding the... Either way, we are discarding the Viridian Forest and it actually helps either way. But it's actually smarter to save that Viridian Forest for a few turns, because that allows us to fish out even more energy cards from our discard pile, essentially attaching even more to our Haxorus. So escape rope actually works because we evolved. So let's just put out... We should have put out a Mew actually, because now they can knock us out. They can use Mawile to knock us out. I forgot about that. I was actually preparing for ADP Altar Creation. Let's hope they don't knock us out. If they don't knock us out, we might be able to do something. Oh, a Marnie, great. They are helping us. But we can't evolve the next turn though. Training Court would be very helpful as well. They can't actually knock out our Haxorus. Oh, they just let us win. Because they can't get past that Haxorus, and it's, you know, it's 4 energy cards already attached. 5, my bad, and we get to attach even more as the game progresses. And you get the point, it does more and more damage. The amount of damage you do, it snowballs, and they can't knock it out. If you can't knock out a Haxorus fast enough, you have to watch out for the amount of damage it gets to do. It can one-hit knock out a tag team by our third hit. If you hit the powerful Axe attack by your third time, you can already knock out a VMAX or a tag team if it lasts that long. So they can't actually prevent Haxorus from being knocked out fast enough. That's probably why they conceded. So hope you guys enjoyed our Sharpening Edge deck featuring the Haxorus from Unified Minds with the Grind Up ability and powerful X attack. So Grind Up allows you to attach 3 in any combination of fire and steel type energy from your hand to this Pokemon. As you discard, the requirement of course is you need to discard a stadium card in play. So any stadium card will do. If your opponent has a stadium card in play, you get to discard that stadium card as well, for an extra 3 energy attachment to your Haxorus for an extra 120 damage. So powerful X does a lot of damage with a base damage of 90. If you have the attack cost fulfilled, is already 90 damage, and you get to add even more and even more as the game progresses. Obviously there is no limit to this, the amount of damage you get to do with this attack. So that's how powerful Haxorus is. You get to do as many as you like as long as you have a lot of energy cards attached to your Haxorus. So how do we attach our energy cards as fast as possible? We are relying on the ability. Obviously we only get to use that ability once per turn. That is why we need other cards to be able to fast charge our Haxorus for as much energy cards attached to it as possible to do as much damage as fast as we can, so that we get to knock out those tag teams, VMAXs, or do a lot of damage to them as fast as possible. So we have our Welder to fast charge with 2 fire energy cards. We have our Giant Hearth and Viridian Forest to get out our energy cards. Viridian Forest gets out our metal type energy as well, because we need not just fire type energy, we need those 2 specific different type energy cards to charge up our Haxorus for the powerful attack, for the powerful X attack. So we also have 1 Mew in this deck to be able to protect our bench, because Axew gets knocked out very easily if it's on the bench spot. Axew actually protects you from being pulled out into the Axew spot. So if you have an Axew at your bench spot and if you fast charge it, you actually get to protect it from being boss ordered or crushing hammered, because it has the Unnerve ability, allowing you to protect Axew from all effects of your opponent's item and supporter cards. So Crushing Hammer, Boss Order, Fan of Waves, Team Yell, all of those cards will not work against your Axew. Escape Rope doesn't work. If your Axew is in the active spot and they use an Escape Rope, you don't have to put your Axew back into the bench spot. But obviously that's actually not good for us, because we want to be saving our Axew as much as we can, because we are not playing any rods in this deck. We have no ordinary rods. We only have 4 Axews and 4 Haxorus to spare in this deck, so we need to use them sparingly. We need to make sure none of them get knocked out as that fast, because if they get knocked out fast enough, your opponent can actually win the game very easy, because we only have 4 to spare. So we also have 2 Marnies and 2 Professors Research in this deck. Those are our supporter cards, 1 Bruno as well, and 1 Skyla. Skyla allows us to get out our Rare Candy or Evolution Incense. So it's a very versatile card. It adds flexibility to this deck. And we also have Level Ball to set up our cards fast, because Level Ball allows us to bring out our Axew into our bench, and that allows us to set up fast, because we do need to set up very fast. And we have our Quick Balls for our Dedenne-GX and Crobat V, also our Axews as well. Level Ball also gets out our Fraxure, by the way, Fraxure. So Fraxure is the stage 1, the stage 1 for Axew, but it's better, as I said earlier in this video, it's better to evolve with a Rare Candy, your Axew, than to evolve it stage by stage through a Fraxure, because if you evolve it from Axew to the stage 1, then to the stage 2 Haxorus, then you actually have no choice but to remove the Unnerve ability before you attack. So we want to be removing the ability and attacking on the same turn. So, essentially preventing them from using a boss order and knocking it out before we evolve. Because if we evolve it to the stage 1, they can actually boss order knock it out before we charge it with enough energy cards to do enough damage to them. So evolving it stage by stage is not a good idea, because standard format, they attack very fast, they use a lot of boss orders, and we want to be preventing as much boss order knockouts as possible, in per game. So we have a lot of stadium cards in this deck, because we are using a lot of the ability. We are planning on using the ability as much times as we can. The grind up ability, because that ability actually does a lot for us. It adds a lot of energy cards to our Haxorus per turn. So it adds up to 3 energy cards, and if we use a Welder, we can add 6 energy cards in 1 turn already. So that's why we have 5 stadium cards in this deck. Stadium cards are very important for that Haxorus card. So Training Court allows us to put any energy cards, any basic energy cards from our discard pile back into our hand. Giant Hearth allows us to search for 2 fire energy cards from our deck. We have to discard a card from our hand though, and Viridian Forest allows us to fish out a metal type energy because we need those 2 different type energies, as I said. So that's all for this deck. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. If you find our videos interesting, entertaining, and fulfilling in any way, we release videos every week, 2 or 3 videos per week. Not a lot of videos, but we try to make it as full, as high quality as possible. We, we feature really good decks and really powerful decks that you can play in the standard format. We haven't done a lot of videos on expanded decks yet, but we will try to do a few expanded decks as well. But obviously standard decks are more competitive, and you get to play, you get to be more, what do you call that, aggressive in the standard format as well, in my opinion. So standard format is more fun for me, so that's why I make a lot of standard decks. But let's not forget the expanded. You get to do a lot as well. You get to explore a lot of uncharted territories in the expanded format. You get to explore your own creativity even more, because the expanded format, you get to use a lot of cards from different expansions. You get to play around with your own creativity. You play around with all those abilities, trainer cards, all different type of combos, because you get a lot of choices in the expanded format. Whereas in standard format, you're restricted to those few expansions. So obviously standard format, everyone is restricted to those few expansions. So even though you are restricted, you actually have the advantage of your opponent not being able to play those extra creative cards from those other expansions. So it's kind of a win-win and a lose-lose situation. So that's all. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. We'll see you in the next video, and have a nice day. Bye guys.